I'm the Morbid Historian, and tonight we're stepping into one of the most chilling and overlooked murder cases in American history. On the quiet night of September 17th, 1911, Colorado Springs slept peacefully under dim street lamps and mountain shadows. But before sunrise, 6 people, 2 entire families, would be found murdered in their beds, killed with an axe. No witnesses, no motive, no trail. This is the story of the Axeman of Colorado Springs. A case many believe is connected to a roaming serial killer who left a trail of destruction across America. The first victims were the Burnhams. Alice May Burnham, just 25 years old, and her 2 children, 6-year-old Alice and 3-year-old John. Neighbors discovered the bodies the next morning, after noticing the home unusually quiet. Inside, investigators found a scene that would haunt them for decades. All 3 were killed in their sleep, their skulls crushed with the blunt end of an axe, their bodies covered carefully with bedclothes afterwards. No signs of robbery, assault, or struggle. The axe used in the murders wasn't carried by the killer. He took it from the Burnhams' own woodpile, used it, and left it at the scene. The precision, the silence, the confidence. These were not the actions of someone killing in rage. This felt practiced. About an hour later, maybe less, the killer struck again. The Wayne family lived in a different neighborhood with no connection to the Burnhams. Henry Wayne, 30. His wife, Blanche, 26, and their 2-year-old daughter, Blanche, all murdered the exact same way while asleep, with the blunt side of an axe, their bodies covered afterward. Again, the weapon was taken from the family's yard and abandoned inside. The killer got in, killed 3 people, and escaped without waking the baby, without alerting the neighbors, and without leaving a clear trace. The murders were so similar, so controlled, that investigators immediately believed they were dealing with a single, highly capable killer. Colorado Springs was gripped by terror. The police launched one of the largest investigations the city had ever seen. Detectives scoured the neighborhood for footprints, fingerprints, anything that could lead them to a suspect. But this was 1911. Forensics was primitive, and the killer seemed to know exactly how to avoid leaving evidence. They found no fingerprints that matched any known suspect, no belongings left behind, no signs of forced entry, and no viable suspects. Officers questioned drifters, laborers, anyone seen near the train station that night, but nothing connected. Patrols were increased. Families took turns staying awake through the night. People started sleeping with guns under their pillows. And then, the killer vanished, just as suddenly as he appeared. Decades later, researchers began noticing something disturbing. Between 1911 and 1912, several American towns experienced strikingly similar crimes. Paola, Kansas, Monmouth, Illinois, Ellsworth, Kansas, Villisca, Iowa, and the list goes on. Families murdered in their beds, whole households wiped out. No motive, no robbery, no sexual assault. Axe taken from the victim's yard, used and left behind. Bodies covered. Even stranger, many of these towns, including Colorado Springs, sat directly along major railroad lines. Investigators like Dwight Havercorn later suggested a chilling theory. The killer may have been rail hopping, stepping off a train, murdering a family in the dead of night, and slipping away before the town even woke. One widely discussed suspect is Henry Lee Moore, convicted of killing his own mother and grandmother with an axe. Some believe he could be responsible for dozens of similar murders. Others think there was another, unidentified killer, someone far more skilled who never got caught. But to this day, no evidence definitively links anyone to the Colorado Springs murders. More than a century later, the houses are gone, the families are gone. Every detective who worked the case is long dead, but the mystery remains. Because unlike many axe murderers of the early 1900s, the Axeman of Colorado Springs operated with meticulous precision. He entered 2 homes quietly, killed 6 people, covered their bodies with a strange, almost ceremonial care, and walked away without a single solid clue left behind. The city never saw him again, but other towns did. Some believe he killed once. Others believed he was one of the first documented interstate serial killers in American history. A phantom traveling the rails, striking at random and slipping away into the night. Whoever he was, he came to Colorado Springs on a quiet September night in 1911 and vanished as silently as he arrived, leaving behind one of the darkest unsolved cases in American history. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on our next descent into the past. We'll see you next time.